Welcome to this explainer. You know, for thousands of years, we humans have been just absolutely captivated by the wild, untamed nature of reptiles, amphibians, and arachnids. But when we bring these incredible creatures into our homes, a really fundamental clash of instincts happens. So let's dive right into this. Whether we're talking about a carefully bred captive species or a displaced, wild, invasive animal you might just stumble across, the baseline psychology remains exactly the same. Today, we are dismantling the myths of exotic pet behavior to give you the ultimate guide to exotic pet handling, and it's entirely based on understanding their unique mindset.
So, here is probably the most common question I hear from new owners. Why does your exotic pet panic when you touch it? Well, to answer that, we really need to immediately address the massive biological difference between the domesticated mammals we're so used to and the wild exotics or invasive animals we keep in terrariums.
Think about domesticated mammals like dogs or cats for a second. Their brains are literally wired to require physical touch to thrive, right? To them, it means affection. But for wild exotics or displaced invasive species, a sudden human hand is instinctually interpreted as a predatory threat. Because they are wired purely for survival, touch triggers an immediate fight to eat or be eaten response. What we really need to wrap our heads around is that an exotic pet can live its entire natural life perfectly happily without ever being touched once.
All right, to get to a place of mutual respect with our animals, here is what we're covering today. First, the exotic pet mindset. Second, handling snakes and lizards. Third, delicate amphibians and invertebrates. And finally, the emergency exotic bite protocol.
Starting off with Section 1, the exotic pet mindset.
Listen, our goal in handling is never to force affection. It's actually just to build tolerance. We want to prevent the animal from experiencing a toxic, unhealthy spike in stress every single time a human simply walks into the room. To do this, we kind of have to completely redefine a word we use all the time: tame. We've got to adjust those mammalian expectations. Tame does not mean an animal doing tricks or begging for belly rubs. According to behavioral experts, a tame exotic is simply an animal that doesn't scramble, quiver, hide, or hiss when approached. That calm neutrality, that is the absolute gold standard we're striving for.
Okay, so how do we actually get there? Well, the taming process requires brief, daily handling. You absolutely must move slowly at all times. Crucially, you've got to avoid sudden vertical lifts. Think about it. In the wild, a sudden shadow or vertical lift perfectly mimics a bird of prey swooping down to eat them. Terrifying, right? And finally, never pass the animal around a noisy room. The whole objective here is just teaching the creature that the human hand is neither a threat nor food.
Moving right along to Section 2, handling snakes and lizards.
When it comes to snakes, precise mechanics are literally everything. Step 1. If you're dealing with a nervous individual, always use a metal snake hook. This safely bridges the gap between the enclosure and your hand, letting them know it is not feeding time. Step 2. Always support the heaviest part of the snake's body to make them feel secure in the air. And Step 3. Just gently grasp right behind the head.
But, it's just as important to know when to back off. If your snake has blurry eye caps, it means they're getting ready to shed. They are functionally blind and highly defensive during this time. Also, if they pull back into a retracted S-curve strike posture, just leave them alone. Handling them in these states will only guarantee a massive stress spike.
Now, for smaller lizards, the technique shifts slightly. You want to use what's called the lizard scoop. You carefully slide your hand under them, making absolutely sure to fully support the chest right behind their front legs. Never, ever grab them from above.
I really need to emphasize this warning. Lizards have incredibly vivid and severe defense mechanisms. If mishandled, anoles can spontaneously drop their tails, and some geckos will violently thrash to the point of physically tearing their own skin off just to escape what they perceive as a predator. Causing that level of stress is a direct failure in proper handling. You absolutely must move on their terms.
Next up is Section 3, delicate amphibians and invertebrates.
This whole category requires an entirely different and frankly much more cautious approach. For amphibians, handling requires wet, cool hands, and the key precaution is strictly avoiding dry skin contact. For tarantulas, you actually want to use a soft paintbrush to coax them forward because those bristles mimic the touch of another spider's legs. And for hermit crabs, you lift them strictly by the shell and hold them very low over a completely flat palm.
Let's zoom in on amphibians for a second. Your frogs, toads, and salamanders. They have highly porous skin that absorbs pretty much everything.
If your handling is absolutely necessary, your hands must be wet with cool water. Why? Because dry, warm human hands can actually inflict microscopic scratches on their skin, cause severe thermal shock, and even introduce fatal bacterial infections. And regarding invertebrates like tarantulas and hermit crabs, remember that handling them low to the ground isn't just a suggestion, it is a life-saving rule. These creatures possess extreme physical fragility. A drop from just a few feet can easily be fatal to them. Keeping that flat palm held close to a soft surface ensures that a sudden spook doesn't end in a tragedy.
Finally, we reach Section 4, Emergency Exotic Bite Protocol.
Look, it's just the reality of interacting with wild or invasive animals that, eventually, instincts are gonna misfire. Let's destigmatize this right off the bat. Bites happen, and it's almost never out of malice. The vast majority of the time, a stressed invasive animal or a captive pet simply misinterprets a warm human hand entering its territory for a food item or a predator. It's just a biological feeding or defense response.
So if a bite does occur, here are the absolute golden rules you must simulate in your mind beforehand so you can think clearly in the moment. Step 1, do not panic and do not pull away. I know your brain is screaming at you to yank your hand back, but don't. Step 2, relax your arm and place the animal down securely on a surface. Step 3, just wait for it to realize its mistake. Once it figures out you aren't a threat or a meal, it will release its grip. And finally, step 4, sterilize the wound or immediately visit the ER if the animal happens to be venomous.
Suppressing that urge to pull away is absolutely crucial. If you stay still, it's usually just a series of tiny pinpricks. But pulling away from a snake or lizard bite will physically tear your own human tissue, and far, far worse, it will forcefully dislodge or break the animal's teeth, leading to massive infections for the animal. Staying calm protects both of you.
So let's tie this all back to our core thesis. Understanding these deep-rooted survival instincts is the absolute first step toward a harmonious environment. While a reptile, amphibian, or arachnid may never crave our physical affection the way a dog does, through patience, respect, and proper technique, we can provide them with a life entirely free from stress and fear.
I want to leave you with this provocative question to chew on the next time you approach a terrarium. Are you handling your exotic pet for their benefit or for yours? Thank you so much for joining me for this comprehensive explainer. If you found this breakdown valuable, please hit subscribe to We Love Pets to join our community, and you'll never miss our upcoming in-depth presentations on expert animal care. See you next time.